Hey everyone, today's video will be part 2 of my Vader chest panel build. I will be going over the steps to smoothing out the printed pieces and to get rid of those layer lines. Even if you're not building this model with me, you'll want to stick around and get some tips on your prints as well. I will also show you what I use for the material for these light covers and how I put those together. And lastly, I will go over the assembly. Alright, let's get started. Let's start with everyone's least favorite part of 3D printing, sanding.
I don't like sand.
I start with a 220 grit sandpaper. For the outer shell, I'm just doing a light sanding to prepare for the next step. But for the smaller parts, I will spend more time on this first sanding pass. You will not see the back panel, so you do not need to do any sanding there. This next step will save you a lot of time, especially when you are printing large parts. I use Bondo glazing and spot putty. It fills in the lower areas between the layer lines and is easier to sand down than PLA, so it cuts down the sanding time quite a bit. Be sure to use gloves during this process and be in a well-ventilated area. After the spot putty dries for about a day, I sand it down with an 800 grit sandpaper. After this first pass of Bondo and sanding, check to see where there are still low areas, and you can fill those in where needed and sand again after it dries. Now I am assembling these parts to make them easier to handle for painting. Each set is 4 parts, the largest at the bottom, followed by the 2 smallest, and then the medium size at the top. I like using the superglued gel for my prints. Next step is to use filler primer. It will fill in the low spots and get your print even smoother. After the primer dries, I wet sand with 1000 grit sandpaper. When you are done, you will want to wipe it down and remove the excess sludge. After this step, you are ready to start painting. I apologize for the low video quality here. I had bad lighting at night in my garage. You will be painting with 5 colors: black, red, white, gold, and either gray or silver. I went with gray on this one. After a second coat of paint, I add a glossy clear coat. Now that everything is painted, let's get started on the light covers. For the material, I used a couple translucent folders that I picked up from Target. When you download my STL files, you can also download and print the PDF for the templates. I cut the folders out using the outer lines from the template. And now I fold where the dotted lines are. After the light covers are cut and folded, insert them through the holes from the back, blue on the top and red on the bottom. They look really good when you shine a light on them from the inside. I glue the light covers in place from the back. For the light slots, I add glue in between each one. This will also be inserted from the backside and glued in place. There are small slots in the cover to hold the 4 switches in place. When looking at the front of the panel, the 3 white switches will be on the left and the red will be on the right. This will also be glued from the inside. Now to finish the last parts and attach. The smaller gold pieces will be glued to the bottom. Be sure to put these finished parts in place immediately after gluing the black part to the top. You will want to be sure it fits correctly in the slots before the glue dries. And now they are glued in place from the backside as well. Using the template again, cut out the rectangle from the red folder. It then needs to be glued to the back of the light slots. And now we are ready to add the electronics for the lights. Be sure to check that out in our next video in this series. Thank you for watching.